My name is Dr. Nair. I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist. In our South Asian communities, we have built extraordinary things. We have crossed oceans, built careers, raised families, and created lives of meaning and achievement. But somewhere along the way, we've inherited a silence around mental health, a belief that struggle should stay in the darkness behind closed doors, that asking for help is a weakness, that talking about your child's pain is an admission of failure as a parent. And that silence has a cost. Every week in my practice, I see teenagers carrying anxiety they cannot name because no one at home has a language for it. I see parents who love their children fiercely and yet feel completely alone when those children are hurting. I see families where the distance between parent and child is not about love, it's about not knowing how to begin. This is the gap that our cause aspires to close. Our cause was founded on a simple idea that storytelling, community, and honest conversation can do what the clinical setting alone cannot. That when people see themselves reflected in the story, when they hear someone else name the thing that they're afraid to name themselves or say out loud, something shifts. Stigma loses its grip. Families start to talk. And the next step, whether that's seeking help, opening a door, or simply sitting with your child and saying, "I'm here," becomes possible. I want to tell you about something that happened just a few miles from here, from where we are sitting tonight. This past February, our community was shaken by the death of a South Asian teenager in a local high school, the fourth teen suicide in our area in just 2 years. Palo Alto is in the midst of its third suicide cluster. These are not statistics. These are children who sat in classrooms, played on sports teams, came home to their families, who love them. And in too many cases, the people closest to them didn't have the language to reach them. Not because they didn't care, but because no one had taught them how to start that conversation. Days after that loss, with that grief still raw in our community, we gathered for our Chalo Baate Kare session. The timing was not a coincidence. It was a reminder of exactly why this work cannot wait. Chalo Baate Kare translates simply to "let's talk." That evening's topic was, "I love my child, but I don't know how to help." We talked about what stress actually looks like in teenagers, because it doesn't always look like crying. Sometimes it looks like anger or silence, or a child who just stops being themselves. We talked about what this brings up in parents, the fear, the guilt, the helplessness. We talked about how love and stress can coexist and how communication doesn't have to be heavy to be meaningful. Parents felt comfortable asking specific questions about their own families, sharing their worries openly, many for the very first time. They left that evening feeling less alone. That is our cause. That is what happens when community becomes a bridge to healing. We are building something here that our parents' generation did not have, and that our children desperately need. A South Asian community that can hold both achievement and vulnerability at the same time. The work ahead is significant. More Chalo Baate Kare sessions, more youth programming, more spaces where the next generation grows up knowing that their minds matter, that their feelings are not shameful, and that there are people in their community who will show up for them. None of that happens without you. Your support tonight is not just a donation to a nonprofit. It is an investment in a generation of South Asian young people who will carry less silence and more strength than we did. It is a message to every parent in a waiting room, every teenager behind a closed door, every family that is struggling quietly, that they are not alone. Chalo Baate Kare, let's talk. Tonight, let's act. Thank you.